Oh man, what a day. Oh, jeez. I don't even know. Like, this is insane. Anyway, okay, so first off, Microsoft just royally pissed off probably a lot of fanboys for the Xbox. It was announced earlier today, well, kind of rumors and stuff like that, that a lot of the Xbox exclusives that many people were buying Xboxes specifically for is going to be branching out most likely to PlayStation 5. This is insane, guys, because first off, a decade or so ago, we would have never thought this possible. That, much of these, if they weren't a third-party game, we weren't going to believe that they could ever be cross-platformed into other consoles themselves. Over the years, there's been many companies, like Sony with God of War, Xbox with Halo, Nintendo and Mario. They were not going to other consoles. They were specifically staying on them. But that is all changing right now. Now, this was posted about 12 hours ago. It's loaded up. There's honestly been a few different websites, but this was the one that I found right at the top. It was rumored today that Xbox will be basically porting over Starfield, Indiana Jones, Hi-Fi Rush, and a few other games over to the PS5. Now, what does this mean? Well, a while back, a lot of you know that Xbox really focused on their exclusives. They spent a lot of money buying studios like Bethesda and stuff like that because they wanted to have something specifically for a reason of buying the Xbox. So, like I just said, Nintendo had Mario and Zelda and stuff like that. Sony had God of War, Spider-Man, and these exclusives that were really doing well. So Microsoft was really, in my opinion, behind on that. Yes, they had their Game Pass, and they were really going all in on that, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But they really didn't have too many exclusives besides games like Halo that were doing well. But this is what the sources are claiming, that Microsoft will release Starfield on the PS5 after the launch of the Shattered Space expansion, which is expected to launch later this year for the Xbox Series X and PC. So, it's funny about this is I was actually on the verge of buying an Xbox Series S just because I loved Bethesda games, and I really wanted to play Starfield. But then this was announced today, and I was like, wow. So I might not have to have to buy a Xbox Series X to play Starfield now. Now I could have played it on the PC, but I'm more of a console gamer. So even this, like, Microsoft is said to have invested more into a PS5 development kits in order to support the effort in porting more first-party Xbox games. So down the road, it sounds like blasphemy, sacrilegious, or I don't even know the right words really for it. But we could at some point see Halo on the PlayStation. And that just, that's blowing my mind, dude. I know a lot of Microsoft fanboys are probably losing it right now because this was their whole library. Stuff like this was going to be the selling point. This is what they were really looking into. So The Verge is also reporting that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle will be coming to the PS5 some months after its launch. There is still debate internally at Microsoft over which games will be released on the rival consoles and which games should remain Xbox console exclusive. This should be treated as a rumor though until Microsoft makes an official statement. So what a lot of people are speculating is that we've seen some of the rumors, we've seen some of the weird stuff. Microsoft firing a lot of people, really backing off on some of this stuff, and it's just kind of been like leading up to something like what's going on? Why is Microsoft doing all this? And I watched an RGT85 video today, and he was talking about it, and some of his predictions, some of his kind of things going on is it. And I think personally, if they're not focusing on trying to sell consoles anymore down the road, this is the best way to go. We've seen it with digital media nowadays, and we've seen how it's progressing, that physical media is disappearing. And down the road, Xbox could get rid of the Xbox pretty much altogether and go 100% PC, considering that Microsoft is originally more of a PC company. But what we've noticed more and more of is that Microsoft is actually focusing so much on Game Pass because, like, once again, digital media is reigning king pretty soon here. They're focusing so much on Game Pass that if they can't get that to go on to other companies, like, who knows that someday we might see Game Pass itself being ported over to PlayStation. If they cannot get their act together and get their PlayStation Network a little bit better, in my opinion, and stop raising the prices, we might see Game Pass someday going over here. I mean, we're seeing games that were going to be exclusive to Xbox crossing over now. Who's to say down the road that Game Pass itself will not go? So what RGT85 was talking about was he thinks that this is smart because not only are you going to be probably putting these games on your Game Pass for everybody with the Xbox Series X, they're going to have the digital copies of that, but they're also going to have these games being sold over to PS on Sony too. So that way you're making more money. You're also, having it for what you're focusing on, which is Game Pass. And then, yeah, like I said, you have the option then of it going over to another company and making more money in the long run. Now, do I think this is smart? Honestly, I don't care. I am not a specific fanboy for certain consoles. My favorite console right now is technically the PS5, but I do like Xbox. I do play Xbox. Like, I'm not pigeon-toeing myself to one console and, claiming that as the best console ever. I just happen to be really into PS5 right now. And this announcement really makes me happy personally, because then that means I don't have to go out and have to buy a Series X now to play Starfield. Because my PC is not necessarily a potato. I probably could play Starfield on it, but I like to have the more graphic overhaul. And I think I would have to invest too much in my PC right now to play Starfield to the full advantage. And I think that's what's going to happen. Now, obviously, this could hurt Xbox, because some of their sales obviously is from selling the Series X console itself. So if nobody, like I said, they just lost out on a little bit of money, because I was on my way, one of these months, if I had an extra money, I have, my hundreds of dollars credit at my game store and stuff like that. If they ever popped in a Series X there, I was gonna buy it. And now that that's happened, obviously Xbox has lost a console purchase from me personally, because why would I need to buy the Series X now for one specific game when I can play it on my PS5? Now, that's not to say that, obviously this is the only good game that's going to do it. I mean, no, it's not. I still someday might get a Series X because I want to play games like Halo and stuff like that. But will I really need to now if they start releasing these exclusives over the PS5? This is just, this is untouched territory. Like I said, a decade ago, if you would have asked me that these companies would actually start working together, I would think it was a dream. Like, I've talked about that in the past. I really wish that all three of the major companies, Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, could really work together to start focusing more on the gamers themselves than greed. Making games for every console. And if you have a specific console that you like personally, you can just do that one. Like, I wish I could play Nintendo games on my PS5. I wish that, I could play most Xbox games on my PS5, or my PS3 games on my Xbox. Just because I like the controllers differently, and I think that it would work a lot better in the long run. I know, obviously, they make so much money off selling the consoles. I get that. That's one thing that's a moneymaker for them. But as we progress more now into the future, when the physical media is going to be disappearing, how long before these consoles themselves turn into little boxes like Retro Pies, and they're not actually these big tower things anymore? This is a big what if. I sometimes think about this, like, what if down the road we specifically just have a thing called like the game box or anything like that, where it's basically like Google Stadia was, where you just hook it to your TV and you can just enjoy any game off of it, either streaming or downloading and stuff like that. Like, that is just, to me, that is every gamer's dream. So With that being said, guys, I want to know what you think about this in the comments below. Do you think that this rumor is true? Obviously, it is popping up all over, and there's some people that claim that there is sources saying this, data mined, and everything like that. Do you guys think that Xbox is willing to loosen these exclusives, specifically that Sony, which has been their rival for, I mean, Nintendo's always been the rivals, kind of off to the side, but I feel like Sony and Microsoft have always been the one butting heads while Nintendo's kind of been off doing its own thing. So I don't know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Do you think this is true? Do you think this is wrong? Do you think that, you know, are you like an Xbox fanboy yourself and this is angering you? So I want to know what you guys think. So make sure you comment below what you guys are visions on this, and what would you like to see in the future too. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate every one of you. Please leave a comment, even if you made it this far in the video and you just want to say, what's up, homie? Just make sure you comment that below, guys. So with that being said, as always, stay retro, my friends, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day, guys.